This is a Fatal 4 podcast.
Lola able to catch it and delivered one. She finally was able to connect. Knocked Perez out all the way to the floor, but quickly, look at Lola. She went right to that injured arm.
Yes, I mean, she still used it, but I don't know if she got all of it.
Welcome to Didn't Get All of It. I am Paul Griffin, and before we get into the show, I would like to recap everything because it's been a while for various reasons. So let me catch you up to everything that we missed in the last 2 weeks. First, Bloodline turned on Paul Heyman. Britt Baker revealed she had a mini stroke. Hangman Adam Page returned. MJF turned heel on Danny Garcia. DIY won the tag titles. Drew McIntyre won Money in the Bank. Drew McIntyre lost Money in the Bank. Tiffany Stratton won Money in the Bank. And All Ego Ethan Page won the NXT Championship. And that is all the major news that happened in the entire world in the last 2 weeks. Nothing else happened. So welcome to Didn't Get All of It, the only wrestling podcast. You know what else we missed? The rest of the hosts, like Cody.
Guys, I don't know if I remember how to podcast.
I don't either, but hopefully B-Rob does.
And the other thing that we missed, everyone, is you.
That's right. Hopefully they came back. Is anybody there? If you're driving right now, just honk your horn to let us know that you're listening. Unless you're in Texas, don't do that. It's a very dangerous thing to do down here. Guys, what have we been up to? The power's been out for most. Noah's not here, by the way. He still does not have power.
That's crazy. So, as the one non-Houstonian on this show, you got to fill me in. What the hell happened? Y'all had a hurricane?
It rained a little bit. The whole city stopped. It's really embarrassing what happens to this place.
Yeah, it like came out of nowhere, similar to our RKO.
It didn't come out of nowhere though, because everybody watched it fester for a week.
Well, nah,
it.
Well, yeah, it was just like it was unclear how severe it would be because it was like a whole bunch of different scenarios. It was like, all right, if it hits the coast this way, it's going to go up and it's going to miss us. If it does this, it's going to go down. It was like Doctor Strange, and he was looking at all the different multiversal outcomes and everything, and he was like, "There's only one outcome, and I think we got it."
I don't buy that excuse of it was unclear of how severe it would be, considering it was the earliest and most powerful storm that we've ever tracked historically in hurricane season. And the only thing that we got was a category 1 storm that rolled through real quick, and it shut the whole city down.
And what was wild about it too is like, what, a month or two ago, we had another storm. So it's like we were recording a podcast when it happened. Yeah, exactly. So you had that storm happen and kind of loosen up a lot of the groundwork for the carnage that this one would unleash once it got here.
If anybody wants to go back and listen to that, I think it was... Does anybody remember what episode that was?
I'm not sure.
It was early in the life of our show.
It might have been 3 or 4.
Titles and Twisters was the post episode of that. That might have been it. So yeah, go dig through your archive and listen to that. Since then, Cody will not be the only person not living in Houston. Come February, I am out of here. So,
Whoa! Breaking news.
Yeah, officially under contract. We are leaving this state.
So I mean,
at the very least, there will be a podcast when there's a storm that hits Houston. 2 of us will be fine.
Yeah. So, I'll be fine too because I have begun the doomsday prepping. My generator came in today. I got my electrician coming here to kind of like proof my freaking electrical box so I can plug my generator directly into the house and everything. I'm debating on upgrading with a freaking Anchor battery system in the house. So like whenever I do run out of gas or if I'm not able to get gas, I can power the house off of a battery. So I'm preparing. I'm going to be comfortable.
What about if AT&T's internet goes down?
Well, I mean, I got mobile hotspot, so I can make that work.
You ain't podcasting from a mobile hotspot.
No. I've done more than my fair share from mobile hotspot, and it's fairly decent. It would just be a matter of like right now, I'm not using my traditional setup and everything, so I'm using a headset and all that stuff. So it'll be kind of like something like that, but I'll be better by then, hopefully, because like I said, I have begun the doomsday prepping.
Well, when that fails, I'll save you a house in North Carolina.
And as I told you, I spent 10 plus years in North Carolina. I will not go back.
Oh, well, you got me all excited about it.
Well, I'll visit, but I won't stay.
Okay. Well, we didn't get to cover Money in the Bank because this is when all of this took place.
Didn't get all of it.
Yeah, didn't get all of that. And I guess there's like one thing we can talk about from that show that we're going to talk about a couple other things, but as we get into the shenanigans of the week that have taken place, like Rhea Ripley's return, the Punk and Rollins segment from Raw, and wouldn't you believe it, Joe Hendry
Leave.
No one clapped.
I did.
And then, of course, there's some stuff from Dynamite that we're going to cover as well. But one of the things from Money in the Bank that's worth bringing up would be someone has seen enough of their career.
Tonight, I officially announce my retirement from the WWE. And this farewell does not end tonight. It is filled with opportunity. WrestleMania 2025 will be the last WrestleMania I compete in. If you want some, hurry up and come get some, because the last time is now.
How about that?
You know, I got a lot of shit coming up, and especially with my doomsday prepping stuff. But if the Mania in Vegas is Cena's last turn, I think I might try to make the trip.
It's just the last time he'll wrestle there. I think he was very clear on his words.
Yeah, deliberate. Yeah.
Of course he's going to come back and like host or wave to the fans or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Although, so he was deliberate with that. I did feel like the rest of what he said was slightly confusing because I interpreted his promo as his retirement match would be at WrestleMania. But he went on to clarify in the post Money in the Bank press conference that that's not the case. He's going to be working 30 or 40 dates in 2025. And WrestleMania will just be that year's WrestleMania will just be his last WrestleMania match, but not his last match, period.
Who do you think they should waste it on? Like an Austin Theory, maybe?
Dear God, no.
I think it's got to be Orton, right?
I was thinking it might be Orton, yeah.
Or at least that would be his retirement match. Maybe not Mania, but Mania is going to be big.
I could see.
I don't mind him being a young person, but I mean, who could that be at this point?
Braun Breaker.
That's not a bad idea.
That would be a pretty good match.
One of those new Samoans they bring out every week.
Oh, come on now.
I definitely feel like we're at some point getting a Randy Orton heel turn this year. It's bound to happen between him and Cody. And then I think heel Randy Orton versus John Cena, whether it's at WrestleMania or it's Cena's last match or what have you. I think we end up seeing that in 2025.
I think this is kind of wild. As far as I know, we've seen his entire career.
Yeah.
Like, I watched the SmackDown that he debuted at, and then everything that followed.
Right.
And now he's getting to go out on his own terms.
You know, I kind of felt like this, I mean, I didn't catch, like, the very beginnings of his career, but, like, with The Undertaker. Like, I seen pretty much, you know, since his debut in WWE all the way up until the end. Well, like the end, but like it was wild seeing all that or whatever, to where like when he lost to Roman Reigns and he put the boots down in the ring and the hat and the gloves and all that shit, that's when I really thought it was it. And that is the very moment that a villain was born. So every old motherfucking wrestler after that point is always hit my shit list because of that shit. You know, it's like.
So is Cena on your shit list or not until next year?
not until he turns into the thing that I hate. The motherfucker that's just there for no goddamn reason, just like Jericho, Samoa Joe to a certain extent, because I won't put him fully there yet. But like those motherfuckers get on my nerves. And then the Undertaker was in that specific group of people to where like, international symbol of this is done. I'm over with. And he genuinely brought emotions out of me to where like I looked like a bitch in front of my wife. Like she sat on the couch next to me during that Roman Reigns match. And I was like, yo, this is done. And like I said,
you're mad that you got worked into a shoot.
Well, yeah, probably. But nah, it's just like a weird point in my life too, because like I retired from the military at the same time. So it was like the end of my career and in his career was kind of like synonymous with each other. And I was like, I got emotional about that shit. And I was just like, yo. And then he came back and wrestled and never went the fuck away. And I got so fucking angry. So angry.
I really hope we don't like they shouldn't Baron Corbin this.
No.
Or Kurt Angle this, I guess would be the
who should be seen as last opponent is Kurt Angle.
That would
be wild.
Or they could just both have
what if Chad Gable?
Sure.
Full circle moment. Have Chad Gable beat him.
I wouldn't even mind that being a tag match. It'd be like Cena, getting pummeled every week by, a group of people and then be like, oh, I need help. And then Kurt Angle be his tag partner or some shit.
Somebody clip that so when it does happen, and B-Rob's like, this old motherfucker came back.
No, because I hopefully it's the end. Then if it goes beyond that, then you hear me be angry.
I don't think Kurt Angle can go anymore, unfortunately. So
I also think at some point, the other two big things we need in this farewell tour, obviously a CM Punk match. And then also, I think Cena should win the world title.
I don't think he wants to do that.
I think he needs to break the record.
Yeah, need and wants, though. I don't think he wants to, but like, I wouldn't be against it if they did it.
I mean, they could do that thing they did with Sting, where it's like he wins the title, but if he loses, he loses his last match. But he didn't lose. Sting didn't lose, did he?
No, Sting won. He won the tag title.
Sting went out as
match,
champion.
And I think that's what Cena should do. I think his last match, whatever it is, whenever it is, whether it's at I don't know what's Bad Blood or whatever the December pay-per-view is next year. Whenever he's calling it quits, his last match, he should win the world title and go out just like Sting.
Not opposed.
But he's the GOAT.
It sounds like we'll have a lot to talk about. He said he has like 30 dates next year.
Yeah.
So he's going to be all over the place, and it doesn't sound like it's a quick in and out departure. So,
also, can someone please explain his farewell T-shirt
with the door on the back?
Yeah. What does that mean?
After this, you can't see me. He's going out the door. You won't be able to see him. He's gone.
But we haven't been able to see him this whole time. Everybody makes a fucking joke all over the internet constantly. It's so lame.
Yeah, it's not a great shirt, but Cena's not known for having great shirts, so it's fine.
Well, what else do we have in the news? There was someone not departing. Well, I guess they were departing. What, CMLL and was it New Japan? What was she doing?
Yeah, she ran the gamut pretty much. I mean, she had all three of those companies, CMLL, New Japan, and a little bit of AEW. So, yes, she's gone from all that crap.
She being Stephanie Vaquer.
And I am excited to see what they do. And kind of apprehensive as well, because it's just like they get all these damn characters, regardless of the company, WWE, AEW, whoever have you. They get all this acclaim and buzz and just like everybody's like, yeah. And then they get there and they don't do shit. Or they just get lost in the shuffle. So like, I'm excited as fuck, but I just got to wait and see, right?
When we were initially going to talk about this, it was speculation that she was signing with WWE. She has since wrestled in a show in Mexico last night. I think she's
as of this recording, yes.
Yeah, and she's also wrestling right now, I think.
That's awesome.
So she signed. People online were big mad about this for departing the way that she did, and then like I guess not going to AEW. This is what happens when you spend time on Twitter. It's
who is mad? Oh,
Just
okay.
weirdos. Probably people were like, why didn't you go to AEW? They just did her such a favor.
What do you mean, did her a favor? She
Yeah, who
lost.
knows?
I mean, they put her, they put her on a big stage, and that obviously got the attention of WWE. And sure, kudos to them for that. But like, this is the obvious smart move from her.
You gotta assume that she's been on their radar
Yeah.
before that.
Well, I don't know, but I mean, I wouldn't doubt it.
I think this is a great signing. I think she's going to, like, she killed it at Forbidden Door, and I think on a big stage in WWE, she's going to do really, really well. So I'm excited. I know she's going to NXT first. Makes sense. Get her acclimated to the American style. I don't know how good of a promo she is. Does she speak English? I don't think so. Based
She
on
does.
her, she does. Okay,
Not a lot, but from what I've saw, she does speak some English.
I started following her on X, and all of her tweets are always in Spanish, so I wasn't sure. But yeah, she was great, and I want to see more of her. So I'm excited about this.
So in a way, they got another big three coming in. So it's her, Julia, and another girl that supposedly they might be taken in called Delta. And I don't know too much about Delta, but I've seen some highlight clips and some things that I might have posted in our Discord, which you all can be a part of by going to fatal4pod.com, fatal4, F-O-U-R, and being a part of our Patreon. You can get exclusive access to our Discord for just $3 a month and get some cool bonus and incentives and everything. But anyway,
Discord's also a great way to know the show's not happening because a small storm knocked out the entire city.
yes. But from what I've seen of this girl they call Delta, or woman or lady or whatever she goes by, she is a beast. I mean, she is built like these other two, Julia and Stephanie, but like she has like heavyweight power, and that's like wild to me.
And then the story about Jordan Grace's contract being changed so she's out in January.
Yeah, because she was
originally the Rumble.
Yeah, because originally I think her contract was supposed to end with TNA during the summer months, but now it's been changed, like you said.
It's interesting that they can do that. If I'm Joe Hendry, I'm asking how to figure that out. Because if he gets trapped where he's at, that's not good for him. We'll talk more about that later. I think sending her to NXT is a good idea, though, because generally I don't think people need to go there to learn to wrestle, but Jordan Grace came out and said there was like a whole thing about the cameras and how there's just so much more than she's used to working with, that just getting acclimated with WWE's production is probably worth going there for.
I agree.
All right. Well, I'm glad we all agree. Is there anything else we should cover before we take a little break? I don't think so.
No.
Nothing else happened. So when we come back, we will talk about the developments with the Liv Morgan and Dominic Mysterio program, including Rhea Ripley's return. CM Punk is now back on Raw, and he's pissed off everybody. It's expected. And we just mentioned it. We'll talk a little bit more about what they've done with Joe Hendry over on NXT right after this. Didn't get all of it and want more of it? Support the show and sign up for the Patreon. For only $3 a month, you'll get exclusive access to Fatal 4 Podcast's Discord, where we hang out all week, chatting all things wrestling, video games, and who knows what. Plus, ad-free episodes of Didn't Get All of It and bonus content that you can't find anywhere else, like extra podcasts from the Fatal 4 and pilot episodes of new shows coming to the Fatal 4 Podcast Network. Your $3 goes a long way in helping keep the show going, so sign up today. That's patreon.com/Fatal4Pod. And we're back. We made it. We figured out how to turn the podcast back on. And we're glad you're still here. Just honk that horn again. Let us know you're listening. And we're going to talk about
Beep, beep.
some of the updates on Raw this week. specifically the Liv Morgan and Dominic Mysterio stuff, which has been dominating the show for the last couple months. So this show, they established a tag match. Liv Morgan and Dominic Mysterio would take on Rey Mysterio and Zelina Vega. And Dominic's on board with this because he really wants to beat his dad. So that's kind of like the story going through the show. And Liv Morgan is, at one point she goes up to him and says, "Hey, let's go prep for our match." And Dominic's like, "Fine, but there better be like chicken nuggies back there." It was very silly. I don't understand where that came from, but I thought it was great. And then there's a segment in the back, very Triple H, Trish Stratus stretching segment.
Yes, I got the same vibes.
Yeah. Feels like pretty edgy for what we've seen Raw do over the last several decades.
Yeah, they're prepping for Netflix.
Yeah, they are. At a certain point, the rest of the Judgment Day shows up, including Carlito, and they made some comment about I forget what he said specifically about things like it's hard on Dominic doing this or something, or it's something about being hard. And Carlito points at his crotch and says, "He looks pretty hard to me," which insane thing to say on USA, I think. Like audibly laughing out loud at that. I cannot believe they said that on TV, even though it's probably nothing as far as censors go. It seems pretty nuts for a WWE program to be like, "Look at this guy's boner." Loved it.
Innuendo is king.
That's not innuendo. You just pointed his dick and said, "This guy's got a boner." What's innuendo about that?
This guy's about to jack off.
Carlito thought it was cool. So anyway, later in the night, main event, Liv Morgan and Dominic actually do beat Rey Mysterio and Zelina Vega, thanks to Liv helping and distracting Rey. Dominic got the pin, and then after they embrace, and Dominic's like, "Oh shit, I can't be doing that." And then Liv forces herself on him, and this is when Rhea Ripley returns with some top tier acting from everybody involved. Liv scurries away quickly, and then she scolds Dominic as they go off the air. So,
now, did you see the extracurricular footage of Liv Morgan after Raw went off the air?
No,
They posted on socials.
Tell me more.
She had a very mission accomplished look.
Yeah.
Good.
She's like hiding behind the curtain,
Oh yeah,
the
I did see
crowd.
that. Yeah. Mhm.
As Rhea's in the ring, and then as she like walks away towards the camera, she's got this big like smile on her face, like she knew what she was doing.
Yeah, she's doing what she set out to do. She said it from
All
the
came
get-go.
together.
I
I
like it.
feel like they've deviated from that scheming. Like the scheming has not been so obvious since they got the ball rolling here. So I don't know. I'm glad they brought that back, and it's not going to be a these two are in love with each other situation.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Because she clearly never gave a shit.
Liv Morgan is just a smart, manipulative heel.
So
It's
what does this do to the Judgment Day going forward since she's back? Is there going to be like any dissension? Is there going to be a separation?
Oh, for sure.
Because
it seems like they've been pretty tight lately, but Finn has his issues with Priest.
And,
Rhea's back.
And there's that Bullet Club tie between Liv and Finn. So
That's true. I think they had a segment with them associating this week too, or in the last 2 weeks at least.
Mm-hmm.
So there's stuff there. I think this is like one of the best programs they've been putting up. Like the shows have been pretty consistent, and this angle's been pretty solid the whole way through.
Mm-hmm.
No pun intended.
That's
innuendo. Another thing that took place on Raw, there was some antics at Money in the Bank that we should get into that spilled over. But one of those being the result of Drew McIntyre winning the Money in the Bank and then cashing in and losing because of one CM Punk, which ultimately resulted in Seth Rollins not being able to challenge for the world title anymore as long as Damian Priest is champion, which we will cover briefly after this little recap.
I came back to get my hands on Drew McIntyre. For months, I've been trying to teach Drew a lesson, and that simple lesson is there are consequences for your actions. You should not be shocked when you pick a fight with CM Punk that he brings the fight back to you. You should not be surprised that you were only champion at WrestleMania for 5 minutes and 46 seconds, because there are consequences to your actions. The following night, Philadelphia, you blew it again, Drew. You missed out on a #1 contenders match because there are consequences to your actions, and you are looking at them. CM Punk is the consequences to all of your stupid actions. There's a man running around with a bracelet with my wife and my dog's name on it, all right? Might not mean anything to you. It might be 15-cent retail, but it's the intent, and I'm gonna get my pound of flesh. I'm sorry. I apologize. I didn't mean to screw anything up for you. I'm a little snowblind with rage right now. I have a singular focus. I understand you do too, and I screwed that up, and I'm sorry. But because it's you, I can't really be that sorry, can I?
Oh, jeez.
Just had to.
I thought it was real. No, you got most of it figured out, except for the one thing that would actually make you the hero that you think you are. You haven't figured out that the world does not revolve around CM Punk. I was willing to let that selfishness slide until Saturday. Because if it wasn't for you, I would be standing here right now, world heavyweight champion.
This was all incredible. From Money in the Bank to Raw, everything we just heard, excellent stuff. I thought, and you know, we're a little far past it, but we didn't get to talk about it on this show. I thought Money in the Bank, the men's Money in the Bank match, and everything that followed after it with the world title was perfectly done. I saw people complaining that it's a waste of the Money in the Bank. That stip is tired. We just had Damian Priest holding the thing for a year. Now that there's a men and a women's, I'm getting sick of seeing everybody carrying around briefcases for 6 to 9 months. Like, this was a much, much, much better use of it to not only extend and add fuel to the fire between Drew McIntyre and CM Punk, but a very logical way to kind of loop Seth Rollins back into it all, because that original plan before Punk got hurt was Rollins and Punk, and now
this fire burns.
Now you also don't need the Money in the Bank all the way to establish anybody anymore, because Gunther's challenging for the title in like 2 weeks, and he earned that opportunity by being good and winning a tournament. So like having another up and comer carrying a briefcase around doing stupid shit with a briefcase for a year is not necessary.
Right. Especially if you didn't have a plan for whoever, and that seems to be the norm for everybody that gets the briefcase. This, I mean, it was a singular focus. It fed into the story, and is going to, pay out big in the end, I believe.
Mm-hmm. I hope so.
So, it's CM Punk, you brittle like fucking brittle.
I assume that we're getting them at Bad Blood, right? Like, I figure we get them before that as well, but that seems like something you put them in a cell for if Punk can survive.
What, Drew and Punk?
Yeah.
Maybe. Like,
they're not just having one match and being like, wow, what a feud. Moving on.
Yeah, you're probably right.
Wouldn't mind it. I mean, I wouldn't mind having a feud that, like, really warrants a Hell in a Cell rather than
this
just
one
like,
would.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I would rather that than just, all right, we have the pay-per-view, so let's just throw people in the cage.
Yeah. I think there was talk maybe a month or two ago about Hell in a Cell being scrapped altogether, the event, and just making it a piece of Bad Blood or WrestleMania or something, which is what they should do.
Or just when it's warranted, they use it like it had been.
That's how it should be.
Yeah, I think this would be the most warranted feud they've got. Do it at Bad Blood, and then next year's Bad Blood, only do a Hell in a Cell if you've got something worthy of it.
Yeah, or like build something up for it. Yeah.
But
Yeah,
I am definitely sick of the forced steps.
Yeah, because like we're getting into a rut with that because like now you got things like Survivor Series War Games and freaking Blood
Right.
and Guts every fucking year to where it's like it's not really warranted. It's just like a thing that they do every year now.
Yeah, I kind of don't like that either. I wish they wouldn't do war games unless they need to. But
Well,
what
this
can
year
you
they
do?
probably will because of Bloodline stuff. So,
But that seems warranted.
Yeah, well, that's warranted. But like, if this wasn't going on and it's just plain Jane motherfuckers throughout the whole year, all right, now we're gonna do a Hell in a Cell or Blood.
Yeah,
and
I don't need a
Guts or
team with
whatever.
Carmelo Hayes finding his way into that match. So the gentleman's agreement that Damian Priest and Rollins agreed on is out the window. I think this is partially to more babyface Damian Priest.
Defenestrated, you could say.
A what?
Defenestrated.
Is that a word?
yeah.
Yes,
What
it's-
are you saying?
Yes, it's when you throw someone out of a window. Look it up.
Okay. I'm going to. I'm going to look it up right now. Defenestration. Ooh, that's kinky.
Whoa.
The action of throwing someone out a window. All right, well.
There you go.
Formal, humorous. Oh, I haven't been laughing this whole time. That is very funny. Well, they've defenestrated all over the stipulation because Priest said, "Hey, when I'm done with Gunther, I'll fight you again. Who cares?" So, Seth, this was after the promo, obviously, because Seth was mad. Now he is not mad.
I want
Obviously, Damian Priest is not beating Gunther.
Yes, I want Gunther to win with all the fiber in my being.
I kind of think, I don't know how they do it, but I think Gunther kills him. And it's like almost
Like a squash?
No, maybe.
No,
Or
I don't think so.
I mean, with all the turmoil within side of the Judgment Day, I believe if he doesn't get his ass handed to him, there'll be some shenanigans that'll cause him to lose.
Maybe it's after he loses, they all come down to console him and then they beat him up.
All right, I like that too.
I would prefer that because I definitely don't want Gunther's win to be tainted at all. Like he should just win clean.
Yeah,
I agree with that.
Yeah, definitely agree there. And we'll be talking about that soon, unless another storm comes. But yeah, this Punk program, maybe the best non-wrestler in wrestling right now, CM Punk.
I mean, sure.
We're 7 months into this program, and they have not wrestled.
Yeah, they've done a very good job of not, rushing things or dragging it out too much, like
or letting Punk heal.
Yeah.
Well, it's just I'm just saying, like it's it's been very well paced given the circumstances that they can't.
The fact that they found stuff to do this whole time,
right?
Like if I was booking EWR or playing a universe mode in 2K, you're out of options pretty quickly on things you can do to keep the feud going. It's pretty impressive. I believe the Gen Zers call this cinema.
I would call this Cinnabon.
Well, speaking of things that are very tasty and good, like Cinnabon, I tuned into NXT this week because I was on a plane and could watch it. And they also insisted that Joe Hendry would be there, which piqued my interest. And they kind of did a few things on NXT that I thought were weird. We did get the MSK return.
Yes.
That was surprising.
Was it? We speculated about it.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I know, but like, I guess...
And they're going up against Gallus. Bullshit.
The surprising part, I guess, was that they showed up as the Rascals.
Yeah.
And, it wasn't Nash Carter coming back. It was, Zach...
Galifianakis.
What's his name? Zach Wentz?
Yeah, something like that.
Who's the other guy? He wasn't in NXT.
No, that's Trey Miguel.
Trey Miguel.
Mm-hmm.
You know what? People complain about NXT wrestlers having bad names. You just said 2 really terrible wrestling names.
Well, yeah, but like, I don't know. It makes sense because, like, I mean, they're using TNA talent, so I mean, TNA is TNA.
Yeah, but that's the circumstances in which he left WWE. I was
I mean, he
not
didn't
sure
come.
this would be one that they would touch.
Yeah, that's probably why they went by another name because the other goofiness is associated with the NXT name.
I still think that was obviously bad optics, but I think it was probably blown out of proportion. And
Yeah,
part of it is they're going by their TNA names because they did that with, I mean, they're TNA employees technically. They did that when Dana Brooke showed up.
Yeah, true.
They said it was Ash by whatever, and what was it called? Defecation.
Defenestrated.
Defenestrated. Ash by Defenestration.
Please, Paul, please, can that be the show title?
I think it has to be. Everyone's gonna know how to spell defenestration after this, and they're gonna tune in to find out what it means. Honk your horn if you knew what it meant. If you're still driving, that is. We're trying to keep people entertained on the road here.
Honk your horn for defenestration.
So yeah, it makes sense. They even had the TNA lower third, so I think it all makes sense. I thought it was weird that Wesley's like lost a title match, and he's like, I guess I should quit. Just like go find another opponent, dude. But whatever. They were trying to get to the trios team. Another thing that happened was Ethan Page won the title at Heatwave in
bonkers fashion.
Yeah. I thought it was pretty good. And
it's very surprising.
Then I forget how they wrote it out, but they had a tag match main event with Ethan Page and Ben 10, the chairman.
Yeah, Sean Spears.
That's it, Sean Spears. And Trick Williams didn't have a partner. And that was the story of the show, is who is he going to find? And they even had silly segments like, do you believe you'll find anybody? And they're like, I don't believe it. Like really making sure that you knew if you're watching for Joe Hendry, he is going to show up.
Yeah. And they even like, I guess, you know, they led in with it after Heatwave because like once the show went off the air, they closed with an image of Joe Hendry.
Right. And then they put him in the commercial during Raw too. For NXT. I thought what I think is interesting now that I've become a Joe Hendry believer is how poor he's utilized outside of NXT for someone of that popularity and stature at this point. Like he is a meme guy, but the dude's drawing numbers on these videos. And B-Rob, correct me if I'm wrong. He's just a mid-card act in TNA, right?
Correct. But as of this recording, he has made his intentions clear for the world title. So that can be coming up here pretty soon.
Okay, good. Because it'd be stupid if he's still doing like bullshit mid-card matches there that are 5 minutes long. But he comes in, tags with Trick Williams, and completely like outshines the entire NXT main event. Like he wrestled just fine. It wasn't like he went in there and put on a Bryan Danielson match while these guys are learning to run the ropes. But he was just presented in such a way like that was above them that I was kind of impressed by, that they would like have the guts to do that. They also didn't beat him. He beat Sean Spears.
Yeah.
I thought this was great for anyone who hasn't seen Joe Hendry wrestle because it was one of the longer matches of his that I've seen. And he was good.
Yeah. Joe Hendry is good.
This is, I mean, look, I know some people are like, oh, I fuck that guy. I don't like him because he's a meme. Go do some research. Like
he is good.
That was me before. I'm like, who the fuck is this? How have I never heard of him? And then I looked, I'm like, oh, how have I never heard of this guy? He's like wildly talented and really good. And they should strike while the iron's hot. If they can get him to get his contract changed so they can sign him, they should do it.
He did the thing that I begged the internet gods to do. I begged the internet gods for two things. And that was Reggie Scripps versus Ninja Mac. I got it. The second thing that I wished for, you know, to quote Drew McIntyre, I prayed for this to happen, and I got it. We had Elijah, a.k.a. Ezekiel, or whatever the fuck, you know. Elias
Yeah.
versus Joe Hendry. And
he sworn that it happened already.
It just happened, like not too long ago. So I wanted those two things to happen, and I got them both. So I'm happy about that. I mean, he did his video package for him and everything. He sung a song about it. Joe Hendry stole his gimmick, and it was great.
Yeah, it was really good. That was the only thing I've watched on TikTok in the last 2 months. But yeah, great stuff. I hope they keep using Joe Hendry until the meme is worn out, and then he seems smart enough to pivot when the time comes.
I know it's not in the notes, but since we are talking NXT also very briefly, I like to bring up that we have two of the guys on the roster for NXT that are making the jump to Pro Wrestling Noah and joining their annual N1 tournament. Now, it's not to be confused with New Japan's G1 tournament, but they're very similar. But we have a Josh Briggs that Paul doesn't know who that is, and Trevor Height, which has been freaking...
I thought it was Travion Heights.
I thought it was Trevor Heights.
No, I think it's Travion.
Either or. But like, both of these guys are going to Japan to participate in a month-long or so tournament. And like, one of the two that I want to talk about is the Travion or Trevor Heights. They've been trusting this guy a lot lately because not only is he going over to do the tournament in Japan, he's a part of the crew that went over to TNA to do like their NXT Invasion angle and shit. So like, I don't know much about this guy, but they've been trusting him, early and like a lot right away.
It must be good.
Must be.
Well, speaking of good, when we come back, there was some stuff on Dynamite this week that was quite good that I want to talk about, and something that B-Rob said was good that I thought was terrible.
Surprise, surprise.
Introducing the newest show from Fatal 4 Podcast, it's Didn't Get All of It Japan. Spinning off from the Didn't Get All of It podcast, we bring you a look at the most important happenings to come out of the world of Japanese pro wrestling. That's right, a podcast about a niche subject in 2024. Who would ever think of such a thing?
Make your podcast feed in Gober Nabare with wrestling talk covering all the biggest happenings on the Japanese wrestling calendar.
I'm Kaz, first-time podcast host, amateur cook. I'm both a lover and a fighter. You might say I love wrestling and romance.
I'm B-Rob, a veteran podcaster, but a young lion in my fandom of Japanese professional wrestling.
I'm Will. I'm just here so I won't get fined.
Subscribe and make us part of your regular podcast listening and stay up to date with matters of the world of Japanese professional wrestling.
Available wherever you get your podcasts. Subscribe to us on Patreon at patreon.com/fatal4pod for only $3 a month to support the show, get ad-free episodes, and join the community in our Discord channel.
Follow us on your favorite social platforms at Fatal4Pod. That's Fatal F-O-U-R Pod for updates. We'll see you on the King's Road.
Welcome back, my friends, to the show that never ends. Didn't get all of it. We're back talking about AEW Dynamite, and this week they did some angles. They did some stuff. We're gonna get into it. The show kicked off with Will Ospreay coming out and addressing MJF's actions from last week. Because if you didn't hear the beginning of the show, which is really weird, how if you didn't, that you're listening to a podcast, you missed like the whole first 2/3 of it. That's very strange. MJF's a heel now. That happened while we were gone. And Will Ospreay's big mad about it.
So last week, at the end of Dynamite, I'll be honest with you guys, I was appalled. I was disgusted, but being honest, I ain't surprised. I have heard rumors about MJF. You've been open and you've spoken about your ADD. Bruv, I've got ADHD and it doesn't give me an excuse to be a little prick. I've only had a few interactions with MJF, and I can already tell you don't like me. And I think I know the reasons why. Reason number one, that bidding war of 2024 didn't really go your way because Tony Khan would rather spend his money on guys that will elevate AEW rather than bury it. Reason number two, apparently I am a talentless hack. And I think the main reason you don't like me is because I remind people what the identity of AEW is meant to be. I represent the foundation of this place. You came swanning back after your injury and you had a tattoo on your calf with AEW. Bet on yourself. But if you was really honest, it would say AEW, all about myself, you selfish little prick. That level of the devil is ground floor and I'm on the top floor, skyscraper, bruv.
You know what you are, Will? You're a joke. You're a flavor of the month. I'm a flavor of the millennia. I don't have to murder myself to get them interested in me. I just have to speak. You wrestle not for yourself, but for them. You're their little dancing toy monkey. Eventually, they're gonna wind you up, watch you play your thimbles, and realize they've seen your routine. They'll grow tired of it. And then, they're gonna throw you out in the trash just like they tried to do to me. Difference is, I'm not replaceable. You, on the other hand, they're gonna move on and call the next flippy guy the best in the world. I've only been in this sport for 10 years, and I've managed to see 10 of you come and go. Great wrestlers are a dime a dozen. Here today, gone tomorrow. I'm a generational talent. And if you get in the ring with me, you will be exposed. So you wanna wrestle me tonight? You want MJF tonight? No. I'm not like you, Will. I don't wrestle for fun. I don't wrestle for their amusement. I wrestle for a purpose and the betterment of all elite wrestling.
So, P-Rob, I think we have conflicting thoughts on this.
Yeah, well, I just want to know what you don't like. I mean, I think Will.
I think.
Yeah. I think
MJF saved this.
Well, yeah. Go ahead. Good. Continue, because I want to hear your point of view on this or whatever. Because I mean, I might have some of the same, thoughts that you have.
The stuff that wasn't in the clip, there was Will Ospreay was like, "You beat up Danny Garcia, and that makes me sad because he's hurt and you hurt a guy." But my issue is this felt more like it's about AEW. Everything's like, oh, we're doing this for the company. We're doing this for AEW. Everything's about AEW. It's not, these two guys are fighting each other. It is, I represent this company. I do this. This company, this company, this company. Why not fight each other and shut the fuck up about Tony Khan and all this other crap? Also, that point of the bidding war didn't go your way because Tony Khan doesn't want to spend money on people. Tony Khan gave him a fucking contract.
Yeah, that was gonna be my big criticism of this promo. That didn't make any sense. He was like, "It didn't go the way you wanted," and I thought he was gonna be like, "Yeah, WWE wasn't interested in you, so you stayed here." But that would make the company look bad. So I was like, "Where's he going with this?" And then him saying that Tony Khan would rather spend money on other people. It's like, that's just not true. Like, Tony Khan gave him the bag.
Yeah, and then he signs dozens of other people too.
Right.
So that didn't make sense. I also thought the level with the devil, you're on the floor and I'm at the roof, skyscraper, it was like the dumbest fucking thing.
Oh yeah, man, that was all right. I thought that was
a lame line. If somebody said that to you, like at a bar, like you're about to get into a fight, and he's like, "I'm at the top, I'm skyscraper," you would laugh at them and you wouldn't fight them because it'd just be like the dumbest thing somebody's ever said. If you honked at someone and you're about to fight them outside of your car, this is how you get out of the fight. Say that you are on another level, you're at the top skyscraper, and they will leave.
Bruv. You got to include the bruv.
Yeah, they will just leave the scene. They will say, "Never mind, this is too stupid," and go away.
I thought it was fine, but like MJF will be validated in all of his statements whenever Will Ospreay turns heel, because he will, and I know he will, and it's gonna be like crazy because all that shit that he's just talking just now, being the babyface. I mean, that's the role that he got to play. Is gonna be mute whenever he flips the switch and Tiger drives somebody into the ground.
Yeah, and MJF's also going to beat him because he beats the best.
Yeah,
Kinda
makes
like
sense.
the whole point.
He said it in his promo.
They're wrestling this week on Dynamite, though, so that will be interesting to see. Hopefully, the match is better than the promo, which I'm certain it will be. Cody, do you have any other thoughts there?
No, I mostly agree with you, Paul. That I mean, I didn't hate it as much as you seem to. I just really didn't like the bidding war line. And then MJF, I thought was great. I'm looking forward to the match. I think both these guys are two of the best in the company. So
I just want less wrestlers to be talking about the company and what they bring to the company, and more about, I want to win the title and I hate you.
Yeah.
Like, I don't want to hear I represent what AEW stands for. No, you don't. They're just a business that's here to make money. You don't.
The other thing I feel like it's worth noting is that throughout this entire episode, but especially during Will Ospreay's promo, the crowd was very quiet.
Oh yeah, horrible crowd.
I think possibly because it was nearly non-existent. Ticket sales didn't look too good for the show, I think. But like, this whole episode was in Calgary and centered around the Owen Hart Cup, and the crowd just like didn't care.
A lot of cowboy hats too.
Yeah, like a lot of, for lack of a better term, pandering to the crowd, and the crowd just didn't care.
Yeah, I thought that was a little odd. They also handled the Owen matches quite differently. Because Bryan Danielson picked up the win and then had like a little award ceremony.
Right.
And before we talk about the Mariah May one, I'm curious, because Cody, I know you love Mercedes Moné. How do you feel about the learning tree Mercedes Moné?
What? Hold on. That's not fair.
What the promo was. She's just doing Lady Chris Jericho.
No. I mean, I get what you mean, but like, this is actually good. Jericho is playing a mentally disabled person, and it's actually bad. Mercedes is just being she's just being fake. Like, she's being disingenuous.
I don't think
also
felt this battle right.
But also
she's the learning tree.
Yeah, but also the whole time I can hear every sound and syllable of her entrance music because the crowd was that fucking quiet the whole time.
Yeah, it was so weird hearing like no
crowd.
reaction to certain people. Just very strange. I wouldn't go back there if I were them. I would punish that crowd.
I like the Britt Baker Mercedes stuff though.
I'm glad Britt Baker's back. She looks like she's ready to go. I always thought she was good. I know a lot of people like don't like her for some reason, but I think she's great. And if you want to have like your homegrown person, she's the one.
Yeah, and I think I'm gonna give her a second chance because I was amongst the many that didn't like her, but I believe it might have been, what we were presented. I mean, she always had to have a group of people around her and, just all this other, bullshit or whatever. Now she's standing on her own. She's in phenomenal shape. I mean, not that had anything to do with it before, but like,
she was always cut, but
yeah,
she does look extra great now.
Yeah, but like, I want to see what she can do standing alone, not with somebody like a goon squad to crutch her up like Saraya or, anybody else that you could pick that's in the goddamn stable.
Yeah. Hopefully she doesn't need people to back her up here. But like Mercedes might, and now then we got a whole nother thing.
Don't like that.
Well, speaking of lady stables, one of them kind of fell apart at the during the main event. Mariah May took on Willow Nightingale for the Owen Cup belt, and match was pretty good.
Oh yeah, good stuff. I enjoyed it. Mariah May,
pretty good.
top tier talent.
I liked the story saying that Willow could be the first to win it twice in a row or something.
Yeah.
Completely forgot that she won it last year. I legit thought they just haven't done this tournament since Adam Cole and Britt Baker won.
Wait, who won the men's last year?
Could have been anybody.
I literally have no recollection.
Kip Sabian.
Wait, are you actually telling the truth, or are you saying words?
No, I'm just saying words.
It was Ricky Starks.
Ah,
he beat CM Punk. Who knew? It was on Collision.
hell?
That's why you don't. That's why you don't remember. It was Collision.
But he watched Collision exclusively for CM Punk, though.
That's true.
I was watching Collision back then. I did. I definitely watched that.
Well, Ricky Starks won, and he's gone on to do huge things since. So anyway, huge things for Mariah May, though, because she went up to the stage to collect her prize and immediately corked Toni Storm with the belt.
It
beat
was
her senseless.
Glorious.
I thought this was really, really good from Mariah May's stance. I thought Toni, on the other hand, she probably should have dropped the gimmick.
Well, no,
like she was screaming in pain in her 19 you're being murdered right now. You should probably stop pretending to be in character.
Well, it's high drama, and I mean, she's kind of bound to that character right now, so I didn't mind it so much.
Sure, but I don't know. I do think if you're getting your ass beat or something, like maybe drop the act for a minute. But
this was definitely shocking.
It's not for me.
Well, I thought something was going to happen, but I absolutely would have put money on Toni Storm doing this to Mariah May, because I don't understand why we're making Mariah May the heel.
Because that's what she's always been.
Yeah, but is in London, right? Like,
yeah, but but also, I'm sorry, but like Toni Storm, regardless of what you may think, is over. So I mean, it only made sense for Mariah May to be the heel here.
Yeah, as a comedy character, but
I think they're both.
But still.
But I think my worry now is that Mariah May came off too cool. Like she, in a company where people enjoy this degree of violence and it makes someone look like a badass, she looked too cool. And I think it's difficult to have sympathy for Toni Storm because she's a goofball. And I think that, next week, if she comes out with a black and white screen and prances around and stuff, that's just not going to work for me, brother.
Yeah, I mean, I can get that, but also I feel like this is the meltdown that we need, to get out of that gimmick and return to the Toni Storm of old, which I really don't think it fucking matters because y'all didn't like that motherfucker when she was the other way anyway. So
I did like Toni Storm. I liked regular Toni Storm quite a bit.
I didn't.
Cody didn't, but
I've never liked Toni Storm.
But regardless, I think if she comes back being silly, this ain't gonna work.
I think it'll just melt away. I think it'll just like gradually melt back into the Toni Storm of old and whatnot. I mean,
but then people are gonna be upset because they like this act. Like this is their fiend.
Well, I mean, if they do it right, I mean, they'll understand. I mean, the story has to, make it work. But
maybe
how
Luther
wrestling fans are, though.
Maybe Luther can teach her to be violent.
There you go. I mean, you got so many things built into this.
I thought this made the most sense because, Mariah should have turned on her because she basically was prancing around as fake Toni Storm this whole time. Why should she keep doing that when she's her own person who can win?
Mm-hmm.
I think it made sense. I liked the angle though. pretty solid show all around.
Like all the angles.
Well, guys, is there anything else we wanted to cover? I think we covered it all. We didn't get all of it, of course, but we got most of it.
Yeah, I think we got most of it, or whatever. I mean, very intrigued about the new prospects that they got coming in. Interested in all the crossover work that all the companies seem to be doing right now. You know, if you want more coverage, because I talked about it before about Josh Briggs and Trayvon or Trevor or Trayavian or whatever the fuck his name is, going over to the N1 tournament in Pro Wrestling Noah. If you want to hear more about that, you can tune in for Didn't Get All of It Japan, to where we're going to talk about some of this stuff, and we got some other surprises for you. So stay tuned for that.
Yeah, that's dropping this week, right? Aren't you guys
Correct.
recording this week?
Yeah, tomorrow.
Awesome. So more pods. People missed us. Now you're getting more pods, and you can get all those pods ad-free at patreon.com/fatal4pod. Only $3 a month. You get ad-free episodes. You get bonus content when we think about it, and all sorts of other stuff. Also access to the Discord that was mentioned earlier. All the fun stuff's happening on the Discord. So throw us $3. Come enjoy all the shows. No ads. Get the community. Great place.
The Discord came in clutch last night. I was up till 2 o'clock in the morning. We was all watching Japanese wrestling. Just having fun.
Yeah, it's a fun place to be. So
yeah,
patreon.com/fatal4pod. We're all there. We're all hanging out and talking. So talk with us.
Yeah, all the time.
And
you want to hear from us? We're just an earshot away.
So, what else is there to say? I don't think there is anything else to say. Covered the Patreon. We're back. We're going to be back here Friday. Same spot you get your podcast. So make sure you subscribe if you haven't already. If you've made it this far, surely you're going to want to hear more from us. Hopefully Noah will have power and you'll be back. In the meantime, thanks for joining, and we'll talk more later.
Goddamn earshot.